air drying, hair drying. I got a dog down here, so if
I
I'm
think we
looking,
should call it hair drying from now on. When you're air drying your hair,
well, I mean,
hair
that kind
drying
of it doesn't really.
work.
It's just too much. Well, it's par for the course for the English language where you have words that look the same, sound the same, mean different things, right? So,
Oh, totally. It's so confusing for people.
yeah. So I'm trying to think of one right now, but I'm completely at a loss.
Like
So,
your, and your.
yeah, but those are spelled differently, so at least you can kind of
True.
figure out the context of it. Because, like,
We
I would
mean
say
spelled the
wood and
same.
wood. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's spelled
Read
differently.
and red. Read and red. Now they're familiar, like they're adjacent. But let's get real English.
Come on, English. Get
Who you
your
trying to
shit together. Well, the English language is actually an amalgamation of a bunch of different cultures, and that's why our words are so different, you know?
What if we just picked one of them and used them all like in alignment with that? And if somebody came at us with the other one, we're like, no, you have to use the one I'm using. Because
Now
I
we're
do know,
being
like, there's
huge word nerds.
delicious.
Word nerds.
I didn't realize I say that a lot, so. But
Delicious.
yes, delicious. I don't know.
It's so great when you use it. What about
Yeah.
chef's kiss? I only say that with you, though, on the podcast.
You know, I did use it recently, and it just made me miss you because you've been gone.
Since you've been gone. Okay, not doing that.
Now
We'll
that
cut
you're
that out.
back, I can breathe for the first time.
We can say chef's kiss. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I gotta stop actually singing. What am I doing?
Well, that's a perfect segue
Anyway.
into hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Then When podcast with your fabulously delicious hostesses,
Delicious.
Mary and Serina. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome.
Oh, sorry,
welcome.
I didn't mean to take your thunder.
Hey, take it.
Mary
take it. It's
and
okay. Mary. No, and Serena. You know, I was just messing with you. Yeah.
I was like, wait, did I say your part again?
No, you didn't.
Get
I was
outta here.
just
You're messing
throwing you
with me.
off. Yeah.
Serena, start
What?
us off with a good quote. You got something in mind. Today, we're going to talk about then when will you finally love yourself?
We did touch on
hard.
this on the last epi. Yeah.
We did.
You were like, hey, we need to come and revisit this. It's too big of a conversation to have. And I don't even think this episode's going to encompass everything. I think it's an ongoing conversation, honestly.
I was just going to say that. Yeah. We're going to keep coming back to this, guys, because guess what? It's not going to be one conversation that is going to help you love yourself.
Right.
And I say the communal you, me and you included, because it's an ongoing journey. And some days the journey is going well for us, and some days the journey is not going so well. So we need to be flexible with that.
Right. And one of the things I like to kind of impress upon in this is that we are constantly evolving beasts. I hope, we're growing, we're bettering ourselves. We're always trying. There's some days that are rough and tough and tumble, and that really requires us the most love for ourselves to get through that and accept ourselves, forgive ourselves, all of those things. It's tough because a lot of times we always seek outside of ourselves to find that validation, find that love, approval, goodness. I think everybody's now getting the benefit and value of some of our little therapy drops on here. Not that we are therapists, but we have gone through our own work and continue to go through our own work. So, so I think there's a lot to be said for that. And there's some good little nuggets that come out of that.
Yeah, give us a nugget.
Yeah, I would love to know other people's nuggets, but my nugget, because if we're talking about loving ourselves and the evolution of ourselves, is in retrospect, also applying love to our past selves in that regard too. So elevating those pieces of us that we feel sometimes we get past or that we've grown or matured from, Yet they will hold on to this little like crevice and crease somewhere inside of your body and remind you sometimes when you're really tired and your lizard brain turns on that they're
Mm-hmm.
still there. So I
Yeah.
would say, not for nostalgia's sake, but for acceptance sake, give yourself some love in the retrospect too. So
Yeah,
that's
I
my
love
nugget.
that. That's a
How about
really
you?
nice nugget. I don't really think about that so much. I think about my future self a lot. And like when you do something that you like today, I always put off doing this stupid task. And today I did half of it. Well, I couldn't do the whole thing yet. And so I did half of it today. And I was like, "Ooh, future Mary is going to appreciate this."
I
Right?
love that phrase. I love
Yes.
sitting in the gratitude for your work right at the moment that your
Hmm.
future self is going to appreciate it. So,
Yes, but you know what though? I never think about my past self, and you
mm,
really gave me a little nugget to chew on here because I think maybe I could be harsh on my past self, right? I feel like we all can, right? Like,
for
oh, I
sure.
should have known better or blah, 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 did this, did that. But it's true. We only know what we know in that moment, right? And hindsight is usually 2020. So
Yep. And
we can
it's not
only,
that we get younger and wiser necessarily, or that's not the adage or that you hear. It's that we gain it wisdom, hopefully through our experiences, and then therefore you can take that pause and sit with that version of yourself, even in this little weird encapsulated way, you know?
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but sometimes for me, I have these like lessons over and over again. And I have to say to myself, like, why? I know so much about behavior. I know so much about this kind of stuff. Why do I keep just repeating this pattern over and over
Hmm.
again? And, there's something that's got to be reinforcing it. And then I realize like lateness. I'll give a very specific example. I
Okay.
hated being the person who was always late. I hated that people expected me to be late. Like it was embarrassing. And granted, like, sure, a lot of stuff goes into that, right?
Hmm.
Life and all that stuff. But like literally most of the times I was late because I left crap to the last minute and that was on me. But when I was late, I was stressed all the time about being late. I was rushing everywhere I was going, just all these negative things. And it took this like aha moment of like, you know what, girl? You could do better for yourself. We're not here to be late anymore. You know what?
Hmm.
Let's be 5 minutes early and surprise the shit out of everyone.
I'll like get into the point where it's like, okay, not being late or at least being the fashionably late person. And then also then being the last person to leave, you know, it's like going,
Yeah,
I am dedicated. I'm like showing up and I'm doing the dishes at the end of the night, you know, at your party, you know, kind of thing. And you're like,
totally.
I need to go to bed, you
I
know,
know,
so.
right? Got to take the hint, people.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So,
Yeah. No,
but
I like that though, being kind to your past self too. I'm going to think about that. Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. I'd love to check back in with you, even if it's just a personal sidebar note. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
all need to be public podcast information. I don't know. But
Yeah, appreciate that. See, that's what a good friend does, people. They're like,
mm,
you know what? Let's circle back on that. Let me check in with you on stuff like that. I love that. Thank you.
well, I'm also kind of curious what little Mary and little Serena would have like been up to. I mean, I we already kind of know what that looks like because there's a lot of times that we go out and we just like throw all of that to the wind, essentially all of the judgment and care when it comes to who's looking, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh,
And
no,
I
we
do
don't
feel,
care. We're
yeah,
making a hard left into that German shop we're just passing.
leaving the skid marks in the middle of the
Totally.
intersection. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I really am looking I was looking forward to this session and I really appreciated that we both took a little bit of rest. Remember everyone, rest is an action. So
Yes.
giving ourselves a little time, you know, to take a breather. We both had some stuff come up, you know, we had spring breaks and then I actually got sick this time. So you might hear a
Not
little
cool.
bit left over, but we
And the
both
last episode, I was sick. Oh my gosh, did I give it to you through the podcast?
I
My
think so.
apologies. I am so sorry for that.
The techno bugs. Ooh. You sent me a virus.
I did.
Mm.
Literally.
Literal.
My bad.
So, that's it's all good. It's all good. I'm upright, so we're
Yay.
we're hacking it out. So, but yeah,
Hopefully
so
not
that was
literally, guys.
I know. I'm kind of keeping it at bay, I think, for everybody's
No,
sake.
you're
Unless some
good.
people are into that, man, there's
Oh,
content
then
for
there will
everyone.
be, separate content on Patreon for you guys.
We'll let you know when that's getting that's stood up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, not the coughing part, guys. Like, really, I'm
People are
not
going
gonna
to be
yuck
like,
your
this
yum.
Patreon sounds really strange. I'm not sure if I'm
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. No yucking of yums, but
No, we
that's
wouldn't.
not the content we're looking to put out there.
We're
That's
just
for sure.
curious, not judgmental.
Mm-mm-mm. Boop. There you go.
I love that
But
behind you.
oh, yeah, me too.
So
It's a
good.
good reminder. And this
Totally.
last week was a good little self-love break too. So thank you very much
Good.
for everybody and their patience. If you were tuned in last week and you were like, oh, what? Well, I hope you revisited something that we had out there already you maybe
Totally.
have passively listened to or revisited the greatest hits so far in our top 10
Yes.
episodes.
I'd be
But
really curious to hear what people's favorite episodes have been. Send us a comment or, put it in the Discord. What conversation have you really enjoyed, whether it's been with other people or just us? That'd
yeah.
be cool to find out.
Yeah, we love to hear it. I mean, just
Yeah,
it's funny what some things resonate with some people versus others. So,
totally.
but
And maybe
yeah,
this will be your favorite episode. Just let us know.
yeah, it's
We'll
all the love,
see.
love, love.
Dude, let's
So
get into it.
let's do it,
Do
Mary.
you want to
What do you
send
want to
us off with
do?
a quote? Start us off
Um,
with a quote?
well, I had a quote. It kind of is adjacent, but I don't know. I don't
Oh,
really
no, it's
have a
so.
specific.
No, dude, that
Oh.
quote totally resonates with this because it's all about self-love, I think.
Oh, really? Well, I collected it this morning. It hit me in an aha, and I was like, "Ooh, that feels super good." Like it
Yeah.
felt like it made enough sense to bring it up and to share. And I was like, when it happened in real time, I just was like, "Oh, okay. Well, there's that." And I have said information, that's just information when you're getting it, and information's always good, just to have. And if we think about like the whole point of this podcast is some part of it is to get your backlog down, right? And now we're finding there's an evolution a little bit of what we're talking about and really how expansive then when that phrase or that lead in is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about information, it can get overwhelming, right? So the quote I got this morning was information doesn't change behavior, design does. And I
Mm.
know that sounds not exactly connected to loving yourself, but that future Mary, right? That conversation that you're talking about is how do you do the things that set yourself up for success?
Yeah,
Information can inform design, right? It can
right.
transform into design, but actively putting together little mechanisms to help you stay on track to love yourself, to love each other, to take care of things, to keep up on the things that mean something to you. Those are those little I guess they're little love notes, little,
Yeah.
creative love notes to yourself and to others around you that you're basically taking that information and you're transforming it by means of design into an action. So,
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
And I think that it definitely resonates because, like, we are constantly getting information about ourselves and our world and the world around us. And so
Mhm.
it's like, how do we want to take that and purposely design it for our values and the things that are important to us and how we want to be, including how we want to think about ourselves,
Mhm.
which is what self love is all about, right? And I know for me personally, my journey to self love has been a rocky one. I'll tell you that.
Is it complete? Is it done? Is your self-love
Goodness,
journey complete?
no.
No,
Thank
no, no.
God, right? I
Right.
mean, I don't know how I could possibly love myself even more, but not in not in a narcissistic way, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
like how my opinion of myself and has changed so much throughout the years. I'll say that when I was younger, when I was a kid, I unfortunately endured a lot of bullying and body shaming and things like that. And it was really tough. And that really impacted how I felt about myself. And there was not a lot of self love going on there, and it was hard. And then once I left that environment, things got better. But still, like, when you're young, I think there's a lot of comparison that goes on, as you're trying to figure out who you are and how you fit into this world, right? And then as I grew, I think that my opinion of myself grew and I was able to love myself more. And throughout my adulthood, that ebbed and flowed too. Like as my body changed with, all the kids that I had, that was definitely something that I had to deal with, and just even letting go of those notions that I used to believe about myself.
Mhm.
I don't know if notion is the right word right there. Oh
Yeah,
God,
it
I hate when I
works.
say my
That
inside
works.
thoughts on the outside.
No, please, that's
I
the whole
couldn't let it go
perfection
though.
of this. That's
It's a word
okay.
nerd in me. No, but I think that sometimes that stuff creeps up still a little bit, when you're not feeling at your best and you kind of fall into these patterns or habits. And so giving your past self the grace and the love that you deserve, just like you would a friend. I
Mhm.
mean, nobody's harsher on themselves than themselves, right? Like, we are our worst critic. I'm always telling my people, like, talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. Would you ever say any of this to a friend? They're always like, oh, God, no. I'm like, why do we say this stuff to ourselves,
You check
people?
me all the time, you do, because I'm always like, "There's
Right.
absolutely no way," and you're like, "Are you kidding? Stop," and I'm like,
Totally.
but I wouldn't say that to you. I would never, ever, like, I would just be, like, cheering you on, I mean, and not just blustering you up just for the sake of it, but it's like,
Yeah.
dude, yeah, you're right. It's like we often forget to turn the mirror on ourselves, right? Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we basically go, okay, I want to project this onto somebody else because I love them and I care about them. And then when you're trying to express it towards yourself, some people are fine with it. Some people are really great at it and hey, good for them.
Oh,
Honest to goodness, hey,
love
I'm
it.
here for that. You
Hit me
know,
up with some tips in the comments. I'm always loving to learn more things.
right, like, what affirmation do you tell yourself in the mirror every single day that just gets you pumped, right? Like, that is
Yes.
some people really lean into that, some people just take care of themselves and give them a little, treat yourself, as they go
Yeah,
along,
treat
but
yourself.
yeah, so it's really like we start kind of looking into it and deconstructing it from our ego perspective, right? So we know
Yeah.
what we're going to be comfortable letting in and embracing and moving towards and then shying away from and then rejecting. There's so many things. Oh, there's so
Yeah,
many
so
things.
many things. And I mean, self-love looks so different for everyone at different times, right? Like
Mhm.
you hit on so many different ones already. And I think that I personally take from all of those things and more at different times. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I need to recharge my battery. I'm going to a dance night at a warehouse in Brooklyn. I got to feel alive and that I'm
That's a
living in this
rave.
world. Oh my
Are you
gosh. We're back on the rave circuit here.
and I know.
No, but no, and then sometimes for me, self-love looks like going to my local library and finding a new book to read and checking out a book or going to get coffee with a friend or going for a walk or I don't know, baking cookies with my kids. Just like different things that
It's like joy replenishment. Like you're putting stuff
right.
back into your tank.
Yes,
Essentially.
exactly. And,
Mhm.
that has something to do with it. I think like the mindset too, how you speak to yourself and what you tell yourself is really important part of self-love as well. There's a lot to talk about here, a lot to dive into.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have, like, several, like, pathways we can go down to kind of look into what we might each individually do. We'll pose the question out there for others too, because frankly, you know, yes, it's you and me on this podcast, but we're clearly broadcasting out to people who, feel inspired or are connecting to the information, and whether or not this is your episode or not, there's definitely things out there for us to share, and that
Yeah.
is really the part of community and connection is our storytelling, right? I like to say
Yeah.
I'm a lore keeper for my friends. Like, I love learning all these little bits about them and times really where they feel triumphant or grateful, right? And those are the
Mhm.
moments when I can remind them, because when I am, in support of them in those low moments, I go, "Hey, remember what you're capable of here. Remember this
Yes.
good thing that happened to you, the glimmer keeper, kind of aspect
Yeah.
of it." I'm like, "Hold on, let me go to the files and, like, let me pull this one out for you," you know?
Aw,
So,
I love
I
that.
like, I almost feel like I'm an apothecary of great or good memories
My
and stuff.
gosh, dude, that is so you for sure. I love
I th
that.
that's what, my chicken-legged hut in the forest, when you come to see me,
Yes.
it's because I will have your little, "Hey, remember this, Mary."
Yes.
So
You definitely were an apothecary keeper in a past life for
I
sure. I could see
I
that
had
about
to.
you. You
Had
had
to
to
have
have been.
been.
Yeah. But I think like part of self-love too is like that self-acceptance, right?
Mm,
Which I kind of touched upon a little bit in my journey, like who you are right now in this moment, including all of your imperfections and your quirks and the different things about you without attaching shame to that, really with just accepting who you are right now because like I've said before, these moments are all that we have. That's
mhm.
all we can live in. And so, how do you want to feel in those moments? Even with maybe, you know, a little muffin top here and there or whatever.
A little jubbly, little
Right.
jiggle,
Or
little
that the thing that you think is a weird quirk, but like probably other people totally do it too. Like, I don't
mhm.
know about you, but like I'm the annoying one in the group that's like always taking a picture or I'm like touching a tree or I need to photograph mushrooms.
No,
It's like
that's
I'm falling behind.
lovely.
But yeah, no,
Well,
it's totally cute. I love that about me. Like,
mhm.
just finding the beauty in these little moments that I want to capture and put into my little apothecary of stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I have a little jar over here, and I've got a little, like, satchel,
Yes.
sachet over there.
Ooh, a
No,
sachet.
sachet Shantae, but yeah, no, I think, like, for mine too, it's like just being, like, having those quirky connections of things that remind me of something else, like a song or a quote, right? And then I'm
Yes.
like the one who's interjecting that, and then you kind of almost leave it out there to see who picks it up, and then you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
there's my person, you know.
Exactly.
But when you're with your friends, and especially those that you already have that established, I feel like sometimes it does turn into your own little language between each other. So then everybody else outside is like confounded as to what you guys are getting at. But,
Oh my
you
gosh,
know,
yes. My brothers totally had their own language growing up. They spoke in like movie quotes and TV quotes, and they just would crack themselves up with this little language that they had that like the rest of us weren't privy to.
yeah. And then you think about how much they're tapping into that historical experience for them to remember that as a point of connection and joy with that person. So
Yes,
that's
totally.
that's a lovely thing. But I mean,
Yeah.
I know we have a ton of things to kind of consider here. So I didn't know if there was something specific that you wanted to dig a little deeper into, but
You
we've kind
know,
of talked about the little things that we've done for ourselves. And
yeah, I think we can kind of talk about just like the different components of self-love and how that shows up for us on our journeys. I have some fun questions we can ask each other
ooh,
later
I like
on.
it. Yeah, so
Yes,
we'll get
maybe
into
we'll
like
do a
a
little here and there, keep everyone intrigued. But
oh
I think
boy.
also part of self-love is respecting yourself, trusting yourself, forgiving yourself. And I think that starts with like knowing who and what is important to you, and then how do we take action on those things? Or how do we connect our actions to who and what is important to us? I know I was late getting onto the podcast today, but I had an important person that needed me for, those couple extra minutes. And I couldn't just, rip myself away from that, because
Yeah.
that was attached to my values, right?
Right.
And so it's these little things, figuring out who and what is important to you. Write that down, people. I love a good list. And it's like a fluid thing.
See, that turns
Tell
into
me.
information, and then you get into the
Information.
design of that information. So how do you translate that over at some point in time? So is what you get into.
Yes. It
But yeah.
literally, you're saying the exact thing. And that is what is going to help you with your then when moments, whether it's then when inside yourself, then when am I going to love myself? Or then when am I going to take that trip, see that museum, do that thing, see that friend,
Mhm.
If
And that's
we're,
oh,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No, you go.
I was like, you were finishing your thought. Go for it
No,
now.
I was just going to say, like, if there's things we're not taking action on, what is that underlying why?
Uh,
Right? Is that thing valuable to us? Is that thing important to us? And if it is, how do we make space for that? Right? Regardless of whatever situation you're in, how do we make space for these things that are important to us? Because these things are going to help us climb up, and once we're climbing up, it's so important to look back, I think, because as we're climbing up and we're getting better within ourselves, outside, whatever you're doing, right? You then increase your expectations of yourself or of the situation, right? And if we're always looking forward to these things that we're achieving or have not achieved yet, we're missing all the stuff that we've done behind us, right? All the stuff that's brought us to this moment. And I think that's really important to take stock in.
right. And I think like that is to some bits of additional self-care that we consider in that, because if you're dealing with the comparison, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. That's another quote.
Yeah.
I'll keep throwing them out there because there's things that I go, okay, yes, okay, I have to remind myself. And that was one of those things that I saw where it was like a flower does not compare itself to the blossom next to it. It just turns to the sun and blooms.
Well,
And
that's
I know I
beautiful.
I gave that to Felicia, like so, and she was like she has loved that one ever since. So I was like, yeah.
Oh,
So and there's those reminders I have to give it to myself too, because I think when we get into this point of pushing for our own betterment, and then our comparison doesn't let us have enough time to express gratitude and a feeling of accomplishment for the things that we have done.
yeah.
And I think that's very important, because then you're just press, press, press for just constant improvement. And great. Yeah. I mean, I'm here for the people that want to just skyrocket and be like these amazing things. But
Yeah.
sometimes when you get to stop and breathe, you simplify the scenario and you can really absorb what has just happened and what's transpired and how you impacted something, how you influenced your world around you. It's that
Yeah.
participation theory, right?
Yeah,
Still.
exactly. And I think it's also nice to sit in that feeling, right? So
Mm,
many
it's
times I feel like, is it
delicious.
is it delicious?
It's so delicious. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's what
no,
I was
sometimes we are just so quick to move on to the next thing, right? That
mhm.
next thing we're achieving or whatever. But sitting in that moment of joy or satisfaction or love for yourself is just so delicious. I'll say it.
Yay! It's one of my other catchphrases. So delicious.
Hashtag
So
so delicious.
get a shirt. We like hashtag. So,
Oh, I love
but
it. Yeah,
yeah,
no, but it's sitting in there. And what does that feel like to you? Taking a moment to stop, breathe, pause. And now that you said it, I realize I'm not sure how much I do that.
right.
It's funny because like we have this podcast, but meanwhile, everyone could have a podcast now. But like we have this podcast
Mhm.
and we say all of these things and people might have the perception of like, oh, Mary and Serina, they got it all together, right? Joke's
But we
on
got
you
you
guys.
fooled
We got you
you.
fooled. No, but we don't. And I'm like admitting it now. Like sometimes I don't sit in these moments. You know what moments I do sit in though that I hate? The crappy moments where you're feeling down and it sucks and you're like, blah,
Yeah,
everything
the
is the
shouldas
worst.
or the couldas or the wouldas,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do we sit in those moments, but we don't sit in like those beautiful moments of, sunshine and joy and when you're feeling wonderful and everything is going right, I feel like we
That
need to sit more in that.
Yeah, I would agree with that because that is your gratitude, right? Your
Mhm.
gratitude rewires your brain. It rewires everything that you are accepting to pull into your life, right? And I
Yeah.
think there's a lot when we sit in that regret station, essentially, we go, oh, I could have changed this, or well, this is what I should have done differently.
Mhm.
If we do accept that little blip in moment where we're sitting there in our own judgment, right? You can at least sit there and go, okay, when this happens or if this happens again, I've learned a lesson here. I can apply this to it next time.
Yes.
And I feel like that helps when you talk about the people who are getting to that analysis paralysis, right? Or they don't want to start something because why? Because I'll fail. These are those
Mhm.
those um inner tracks that we convince ourselves when we are at least sitting in the moment of something not going the right way, when we're sitting in a quote unquote failure, um, we can analyze it, but we can't analyze it to the point where you get lost in the lack of control, right? Because
Yeah.
you sit there and you go, you'll sit in the past and you'll stay in the past and you will never want to move forward away from that. So think about like when you've ever said something silly to someone and you're like, oh, and you are the one who remembers it. That person doesn't care. That
Yeah.
person never remembers what it is that you said,
Yeah.
you
They
know?
didn't think about it after that moment you said it. Nobody
No,
cares. But I
no.
will be like, damn it. I'll be in my bed later, 12 hours plus later, being like, damn it. These people think I'm an idiot because I said the wrong thing or I forgot the word that I was looking for or whatever, but
I
nobody cares.
No, I was, like, out
Mm-mm.
somewhere and I said something, I used the wrong, like, government agency for, like, medicine versus food or something like FDA approved or whatever, and
Yeah.
I know I was like somebody overheard me and I was like, "Oh, that was dumb," and then I sat there for the longest time going, "Why did I say that?" Like, I was like, "I'm never gonna
Mm-hmm.
see those people again,"
Never.
but it's one of those things where it's also, again, it's one of those tracks inside your head that you could do better. Oh, you are hitting with this content, by the way, at a very good time because me and my journaling
Mm-hmm.
anyway, um, I wrote something. It was heartbreaking to go back and read, but it is
Mm-hmm.
something very, very, very much attached to the self-love thing is that, um, if I feel like I could have given more, then I feel like what I have done was not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a
Mm.
lot of that processing I have been trying to kind of rewire in my own head is that going, I know I could give more. I know I
Mm-hmm.
can just go deplete completely to just push, push, push. And sometimes I will say a large amount of times I would sit there and and I still do. And I go, what I gave was not enough then.
Mm.
And that is this whole concept of what I give is never enough. And there is a whole other backlog that I will reserve just for my therapist. But honestly, out there, that I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. And
Goodness, no.
no, no, and
Absolutely
I
not.
really can't be the only one who feels that way. But
No, of course not.
the one thing and kind of the reframe, because
Mhm.
reframing helps so tremendously. And I sometimes I understand when some people say reframing is just lying or telling yourself a little lie to kind of just accept something. But I'm also like
Mm.
going, well, reframing gives you an opportunity to reevaluate what it is that you've experienced and experience it from a different angle, I
Yeah.
feel.
I was just
And
gonna say that. I do not agree with whoever said that quote. And no,
wasn't
because
me, but
no, it
yeah,
wasn't you. No,
no.
because I think reframing is a fresh perspective or a different perspective on something. Because, like we said before, we're our harshest critic,
Right. So that
right?
reframe I did in
Yeah.
that was, I mean, I did share that. I mean, I just shared it with all of you guys. So this is a vulnerable moment. Um, is Yes, I can give everything down to the last drop. I can totally do that, and when I do that, I am completely and utterly wiped, and then I have nothing for anyone at
Mhm.
that point,
Yeah.
and that takes a lot away from, I guess, part of my identity, um, but even not being able to give that to myself, and I feel like when I can reframe it and go, "Serena, you are one person who needs you the most here,"
Mhm.
uh, if I can look at it from that, if I can sit myself outside of myself for just a quick moment
Yeah.
and then go, how would I give this to Mary? Right?
Yeah.
How would I give this to anybody else I love and care about? And i- if I operate and act in that fashion, I feel like I can combat that little nasty voice that's back there that says, you should have done more,
Yeah.
So,
I love
um,
that. Like, in what I do, we call it taking a bird's eye perspective of, the situation or what's happening, because it is so important to take, a moment to sit outside of your judgmental brain.
mhm,
I mean, our brain has to judge things. We're wired that way for survival, right? Is
right.
this safe? Is this not safe? That's how we've gotten here, people, right?
Right.
But it's
Do
how
do I need to practice my self-love, like, in the middle of a gauntlet of, like, constant amounts of sharp knives being thrown back and forth? Like, literal knives, not, like,
that's like
metaphoric or you know?
That's like survival mode. You're not
Yes.
thinking of self-love in that moment. Your
No, no, no.
self-love is to survive.
Correct, correct. So
Yeah, no, but it's true, like, and that what you said is so beautiful because, like, if you can give and give and give, and sometimes that's still not enough, right?
mhm,
And so how is that connected to your values, right? If when
right.
I struggle with the same thing, when I give and give and give and I'm depleted for myself and my people, then I'm not acting toward my values, right? Because
Mhm,
part of my values are being there for my people in the way that I think is the right way, right? Being kind to them and being thoughtful and respectful. And when I'm depleted, I am short with people. I don't want to deal with anyone. I don't have the patience for anything. This happened to me yesterday. I
mhm,
was totally depleted, and not like in a way that I was giving to one person all day long, but it was my first day back at work. I had a very full day and I just gave and gave and gave and gave and gave. And then when I came home, I had nothing left for me or anyone else.
right.
And so I said to my partner, I was like, listen, I got to go for a run. I have to do it. And I wasn't thinking about exercise at all. I
Mhm,
needed to do something for me to fill my cup again so that I could then spend the rest of my day acting and living toward my values and the things
mhm,
that are important to me. And that's part of self-love too, right? Drawing a boundary and saying, you know what? Here's where I'm at right now, and this is what I need to do. And that's advocating for yourself right there. Instead, if I didn't do that, my whole night would have been totally different, I'm sure. I would have been short and, you know, meanish to people that I love that I don't want to treat that way. I probably would have spent the rest of my night in my bed doom scrolling or something. That's not toward my values. I do not love feeling
mm-mm.
that way. I don't know about you guys.
No, I took a dip into the couch rot for or couch/bed rot for a couple, but I was also trying to recover from being sick, so I was like, "Oh," but,
Yeah, it's different.
yeah, but I mean, even still, like, I was like, at a certain point, I was like, "Enough," I got sick of
Mhm.
being sick in that brain space essentially, and I
Yeah.
was like, "You know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to plant some like shrubs." So I did. I was like,
Oh,
they're small,
nice.
but it was just like a little something just
Dude,
because I
don't
feel
be
like
judging your shrubs on their size. You
well,
size queen.
I know. Well, no,
That's Patreon content, chill.
that
No,
is,
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
that's a those are the jokes. Yeah, those are when we get the they're like the sultry, and then we just tell the jokes over on the Patreon years later.
Yeah,
But
totally.
yeah. Yeah, I should have been rewound like by like 5 days. I would have been like, okay, guys, just giving you the big husky voice that I can't even do right now, but
Oh, good.
yeah,
I'm
be
glad your
like,
regular voice is back.
"Was it?" Like, "Anyway," so it
It's
sounds so
yeah,
different
it's
in my
ish
head right now because it
adjacent.
feels like there's cotton stuffed in my skull at the
Mhm.
moment, but that's okay.
I
But,
got you.
yeah, so it's just like those little things that you can say, "Okay, I take out." But you came back to boundary or I'm coming back to you saying boundaries, and I know
Yeah.
boundaries is like a lot of people are saying it, and a lot of people are kind of screaming it from the mountaintops right now, and I don't want it to be like something where it's like, oh, it's just the word du jour or the thing that people are leaning into the most, but I really find that when it comes down to it, the boundaries were never really overstepped by other people. In most cases, they were because you didn't hold them. And not to
Mhm.
blame. It's like you didn't
Yeah.
believe enough in your own boundaries, so you're accepting your boundaries more. And so
Mhm.
I do want to rephrase, well, not rephrase that, but I want to at least come back to it and say that is not a blame that you weren't being strong. It was
Yeah.
that you didn't know you could be strong
Mhm.
and hold those. And oftentimes people don't know, like people who care about you don't know that they've been overstepping something because
Right.
oftentimes you deliver something a little bit differently to them. You offer more of yourself. Like, again, if you're not giving it all, you're not doing enough. But
Yeah.
um, but that's the hardest thing to accept. That part in that is to go, I have to do that for me. I have to go running. I know I'm going to start getting really testy. I'm going to get short with people. I know when I need to take a walk. I did myself. I went to go sit in the woods for a second last week at one point in
Nice.
time. I just got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I didn't do something like that, then I might have gone just emotionally Vesuvial and just been like, and either or the opposite and just completely shut down.
Yeah.
So I feel that not that I'm a hot-tempered person, but
No.
there's sometimes when I could just go, enough, and that's
Yeah.
it. So,
Right.
but other
And
than
there's
that,
strength in that though, right? I love
there
when I
is.
prove myself wrong or when I show myself how strong and resilient that I am.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
a
And
nice moment to have.
yeah, you can sit there and you can go, "Dang, I'm a baddie. Look at me," and that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
awesome when you can acknowledge that for yourself and you can accept that about yourself too, because oftentimes it's, again, comparison could steal that from
Right.
you. So, if we're going to pick one more question, because we've kind of been peppering them out there. We've been meandering through our self-love, ideas and content essentially that we wanted to touch on here.
Mhm.
What is the thing that you I like this one,
Okay.
and I'm gonna give it to you,
All
and you
right.
don't know which one it is, so you're gonna have to, and maybe you've already thought about this, but what compliment do you give others that you really should be giving to yourself?
That's a good one.
Mm.
What
I even slowed it down
compliments?
to give you some time to think about it too,
I
so,
know.
how about
Thank
that?
you. What compliment do I give others? Hmm. That I should give to myself. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, I would say if I'm thinking on my feet here, I think I praise people a lot for the things that they do. And I think it would be nice if I praised myself for the things that I do, not all the time, like, great job, you got out of bed. But I think I just, I highlight things that I see in other people,
Mhm.
that I enjoy witnessing. And I think that I should take a look at, like, take some introspective time to see what there is that I like that I do.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. I mean, I think it's important, and maybe sometimes we are doing that, when we think about that. So when we are giving the compliment out, it's because there's a part of that what that person's doing resonates with something either we want to be doing or the
Mhm.
person we want to be or what we're already accomplishing. And maybe sometimes that's not something we have like fanfare or people who are paying attention to all the little things that we accomplish, right?
Yeah.
So in that same vein, I think mine is because I express gratitude for what people do in general and, like, things like where they do stuff more I don't wanna totally say selflessly, but, like, where they do it for a greater good in a lot of ways, and it, um, is acknowledging stuff like that, and it could be somebody
Yeah.
who can just be doing something where they might be like, "Well, this is just what I do," you
Right.
know? That's the way I process that too. So
Mm.
if I could acknowledge that in going, "Hey, you did do that," because there's a lot of times where I'm like, "Oh, it was nothing. It was nothing. Go ahead."
Yeah.
But I don't want to diminish the fact that I'm saying something was nothing when it was something to somebody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. I love
So,
that.
yeah. Because then I
Um,
can't be like, "Hey, Mary, you're full of it," you know? That was nothing.
oh,
That was
tell me
nothing.
when I was full of it. Please call me out on that shit.
No, 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 no. I was just basically like,
Wait,
but
so I got one for you now
oh, oh,
that
oh, oh.
kind of runs into that. What's something that you do well that you tend to minimize or dismiss?
Oh, I do consider everyone around me, I think, in a lot of cases. And it was like, this feels weird. This feels really weird kind of saying
What?
stuff like this. But no, no, I mean like just going, what is it that you do well? Right?
Yeah.
No, I pay attention to like I pay attention to people. Like I pay
Mhm.
attention to them. And maybe this is like because I'm always like trying to read emotions and stuff like that, but I do pay attention to the things that make people excited or happy and that I also get some kind of benefit out of seeing people in those states, and just going,
Mhm.
that's really a beautiful thing to witness. So I feel like that is the case is witnessing things and witnessing people in their states, whether they're grieving, whether they're joyous, I mean, it's sliding scale.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel that that is a pretty loving gesture is to let people know that they're seen.
Yeah. I
So,
love that. That's so good.
yeah.
Mine isn't as deep. I would say that I've become a really good cook over the years,
Yeah.
and also like I'll say that not that I do this well, but something that I minimize or diminish is when people give me compliments. For sure,
Mhm.
I'm always
Mhm.
just like, "Oh yeah, but I do that all the time." Or oh, that's just
Yeah, it
me,
was
whatever.
nothing.
It
Oh,
was
it's nothing.
nothing,
Mhm. Mhm.
Ugh, I
Mhm.
hate doing that. And so I've been trying to like accept it and say like, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that."
Right.
Um and sitting with that uncomfortableness of someone else commenting on something you doing. Okay, I have
Yeah.
a fun one for us.
Okay.
If self-love were a vacation destination, where
Oh
would yours be?
my gosh. I don't know if it has a name,
Or what
but
kind
I
of
have I have a little
destination would it be?
it would literally be I feel like it would be some kind of cave behind a waterfall somewhere with a book,
Ooh.
or
Oh,
music or something. I like that seems
love that.
that's just like something that came up because I was like, there's a waterfall, there's water. I like the water element. There could be some like green, lush greenery. I'm good with that
Mhm.
too, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't have an actual, but it can't be a place where like everybody has to go get their Insta, their selfies going on. Like this has to
No,
be
yeah.
a place that literally nobody knows of, and
A
I'm just
remote
there.
waterfall
Mhm. Y
randomly. You know
Yeah.
who where there are some really amazing waterfalls like that where there's like lush greenery and you could go behind them and they're not really that trampled on.
Okay.
Surprisingly is Australia. And it's very oddly, it's called like the area where a lot of these are was like Dairyland or something because that was like a
Nice.
big joke. I'm like, all these waterfalls are in Australia's
S
Dairyland.
Marketing. Just keep
Yeah,
people away as he's Iceland, Greenland,
right?
remember that whole thing, so,
Yeah, totally.
yeah. New Zealand
Well,
too. New Zealand's got so
yeah,
many you could just pull off and there you go, so,
right. Yeah, that's so
alright.
true. My
Yeah.
destination would be at a warm beach with a good book and some headphones and the sunshine and vegetation too. I need palm trees, obviously. But again,
Obvi.
not too populated. I don't want people selling me stuff on the beach. I don't want people taking their Insta photos next to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do
I'm
love the water and the beach and the sunshine.
I like how we both have water elements in ours, so it's like I
Yeah.
think mine is just being able I love this little element of having my own little, like, space
Cove.
to inhabit. Yeah, a cove, a
Yeah.
fort, or whatever, so, yeah,
I love
so
that.
you're
That's so
finding a
great.
little bit more about, like, my little hidey hole self.
Yeah.
So, but
That's so
yeah.
great.
So we
Okay,
wanna hear
one
what
more.
every
Wait, one more.
okay.
Come on, let's be fun here. One
Alright.
more. When do I feel most like me? When do you feel most like you?
I know my answer. What's yours first?
Ooh, I would say taking pictures in nature. I
Mhm.
feel like the most like me. What about you?
That's dancing.
Oh, nice.
I
That is
love
another one
just
for me.
yeah, just unabashedly
Yeah.
without any kind of, like, any kind of, oh god, agenda,
Mhm.
no steps that are required. The choreography is just natural. The body movements are just somatically free. I love
Yeah.
that, and I love just being in the moment with the music and really feeling it and passing it through, and I was driving home yesterday, um last night actually, and I got a song on and my body was just like moving while I was driving, but I was like, "Hey, I love
Amazing.
it." So I love it.
Put your
So
car on self-driving mode and jam out.
yeah, I mean, I was like giving big arm gestures too. So, but I
Yes.
was driving safely, but still, I was like,
We
so it was
all
great.
dance in our car. Let's everyone admit it. Share it in the
Yeah.
comments. What's your
What's your
favorite
favorite?
song to dance to
Yeah,
in
we
the
share a
car?
brain. Yeah,
I
man.
love that.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah. Mary, I'm so
Cool.
glad you're back from your trip, even though I know you
Yes.
had a blast.
Yes, it was
So,
fun. I'm so glad that I'm back talking with you. I missed you last week. It was nice for us to chat and do this again. I
yeah.
love recording our podcast. It's like a part of self love for me, just
Yep.
taking the time to do this. I know we both have busy lives. And so when we get to do this together, it's just so fun. It's just hanging out with my bestie. What's
Yeah.
better
So
than that?
I can't think of anything. But, however, well, not and, no, and not but. Let's think forward, right? We're
Tell
going to
me.
do our future versions as a favor here. I
Ooh.
think we should dip into some little miniature self-love tasks that we love to do and share them in real time, well, in real podcast time on our next round. What do you say?
Yes, I love that. What is going to be are we going to commit to a thing or are we going to
Let's
make
figure
it
it
a
out.
surprise on the socials?
I feel like we can powwow a little bit before then and figure out we'll get it together, but it'll be something to look forward to that we can share real time. Um, just doing something together whilst we're talking. So
I
maybe a
love it.
craft or
Oh,
two.
talking and doing things at the same time. I don't know
I
about that.
know.
You might get
So
some awkward silences from me as I'm trying to find a puzzle piece or
and
something.
that's when we'll start filling it up with like little weird, like little gibberish notes in the in betweens.
Just
So,
off the cuff.
but yeah.
That will have to be explicit for sure, just in
So we
case.
want to pose the questions out there to everybody that we talked about with self-love. What are the little rituals that you do for yourself, right?
Hmm.
Answer the same questions. How would you what compliments do you give to others that you really should be giving to yourself?
Yep.
What was
If
it?
you could go, or if self love were a vacation destination, where would yours be?
That's
What's
right.
something that you do well that you tend to minimize or dismiss? Actually, I really love that one. Let
Mhm.
us know, guys. What do you do well? What's something that it doesn't have to be deep, guys? It could be that you're a really great driver, or you're a good gift giver, or you're a good friend, or whatever it
Or you
is.
do great bird whistles. I mean, just like
Ooh,
let's talk
bird
about your talents.
whistles.
So
I
yeah,
love
so
it.
yeah.
Share it. Yeah,
So
definitely. And thank you
uh,
guys so much much for joining us today and along this fun, beautiful journey that we are on together. Then when will you finally love yourself? Then when will you finally be good enough for yourself?
Right.
Then when will you listen to the next episode?
And we'll be here to help amplify you too. So,
We'll
all right,
be here.
guys.
We got your back, guys.
All right. So we'll wrap
Until
this up.
when?
Until when?
Oh, I got it this time.
So that's it for today's episode of Then When. Honestly, we could talk about this stuff forever, but we know you've probably got things to do, or at least a very long list of things you're thinking about doing.
It's been a blast, but before we head out, we want to hear from you. We're looking for your then and your when.
Exactly. If you've got a recent win you're proud of, that's your then. Or if there's a back burner dream item you've been putting off, that's your when.
Whether it's a total triumph or help, I'm procrastinating, we want to share your stories on the show.
Seriously, come say hi. You can DM us at thenwhenpod or shoot us an email. We can't wait to hear what you're working on.
Until next time, take care of yourself. We'll catch you on the flip.